Have you ever woken up late, missed the bus, or spilled your coffee, and thought, why is everything going wrong today? We all have days like that. Days when nothing feels right, when problems feel bigger than us, and when life seems unfair. But what if I told you there is a simple secret that can change the way you see your life? It's not money, it's not luck, it's something small but powerful: gratitude. Gratitude means saying thank you for the little things, for the air you breathe, for the food on your plate, for a friend's smile. It sounds simple, but it has the power to change everything. When you start noticing what you already have, your heart feels lighter, your stress feels smaller, and your days feel brighter. Today, I will share a story with you. A story about a man who thought his life was unlucky, boring, and hard. But then he discovered the power of gratitude. His life didn't become perfect, but it became happier. And maybe this story can change the way you see your life too.
Part 1. The Ordinary Morning. The morning sun was already high in the sky when Tom opened his eyes. He looked at the clock. 8:30. His eyes went wide. "Oh no!" he shouted. He was late, very late. He was supposed to wake up at 7. Tom jumped out of bed. His heart was beating fast. He rushed to the bathroom, splashed water on his face, and quickly brushed his teeth. He did not have time for breakfast. He did not even drink water. He grabbed his bag and ran outside. The street was noisy. Cars were honking, children were walking to school, and people were rushing to work. Tom was also rushing. He ran as fast as he could to the bus stop. But when he arrived, the bus was already leaving. Tom waved his hand and shouted, "Wait! Wait!" But the bus driver did not stop. The bus disappeared down the road. Tom stood there, breathing hard. Sweat ran down his forehead. He felt angry. He felt unlucky. "Why is my life always bad?" he whispered to himself. He looked at the empty street and kicked a small stone. Now Tom had no choice. He had to walk to work. It was a long walk, almost 40 minutes. As he walked, his mind was full of negative thoughts. Why didn't my alarm ring? Why do bad things always happen to me? My boss will be angry. My friends will laugh at me. My whole day is already ruined. The more he thought, the heavier his steps became. The morning was bright, but for Tom, everything felt dark. The birds were singing, but he did not hear them. A child smiled at him, but he did not notice. He was trapped inside his negative thoughts. Finally, Tom reached the office. He walked in quickly, hoping nobody saw him. But his boss looked up and frowned. "Tom, you are late again." Tom felt his face burn. He wanted to explain, but he stayed quiet. He sat at his desk, opened his computer, and tried to work. But his mind was still angry. He thought about the missed bus. He thought about the boss's angry face. He thought about how unlucky his life was. At lunchtime, Tom went outside. He sat alone on a bench, staring at the ground. Other people were laughing, eating, and talking. But Tom only thought about his problems. To him, life was heavy. Life was unfair. And he believed nothing would ever change. But what Tom didn't know was that his life was about to change. Not because of money, not because of luck, but because of one small lesson he would learn very soon. A lesson about gratitude. Part 2. A Small Moment. The afternoon sun was warm. Tom sat on a wooden bench outside his office, holding his lunch in his hands. He wasn't really hungry, but he knew he had to eat something. The food smelled good, rice, chicken, and vegetables, but Tom didn't even notice. He just poked at the rice with his spoon, his mind still replaying the bad morning. He sighed loudly. What a terrible day, he thought. Nothing ever goes right for me. As he sat there, lost in his thoughts, an old man slowly walked up and sat down beside him. The man wore simple clothes and carried a small bag. His hair was gray, his back slightly bent, but his face had something special, an easy, gentle smile. The old man opened his lunch, a small box with bread and some soup. He looked at Tom's food and said kindly, "The food is good today, isn't it?" Tom was surprised. He looked at the man, then at his own food. He hadn't even tasted it yet. "I don't know," Tom answered quietly. His voice was flat. The old man laughed softly. "Ha! Young people are always in a hurry. You must taste before you decide." He took a bite of his bread, chewed slowly, and closed his eyes as if enjoying every second. Delicious," he said with joy. Tom frowned a little. He thought, how can he smile like that? How can he be happy? Doesn't he see how hard life is? The old man must have noticed Tom's face. He leaned a little closer and said, "My friend, I am happy because I can still walk, eat, and talk. That is a gift." Tom blinked. "A gift?" he repeated. "Yes," the old man said, nodding. "Every morning I open my eyes, I say thank you. Every time I eat, I say thank you. Every step I take, I say thank you. Life is not perfect, but it is full of small gifts." Tom stared at the ground. He thought about his morning. He had been angry about the bus, the alarm, his boss. He never once thought about the fact that he had 2 legs to walk, eyes to see, food to eat. The old man smiled again and started eating his soup slowly as if it were the best meal in the world. Tom sat silently watching him. For the first time that day, Tom felt something different. Not anger, not stress, something softer, something like curiosity. Maybe, Tom thought, life is not only about problems. Maybe there's something I don't see. When lunch break ended, the old man stood up, stretched his back, and said, "Be thankful, young man. Gratitude makes life lighter." Then he walked away. Tom sat frozen, holding his spoon. His heart felt strange, almost warm. He didn't know it yet, but that small moment was the beginning of a big change in his life. Part 3. The Change Begins. That night, Tom sat on his bed, still thinking about the old man. The man's words echoed in his mind. Be thankful. Gratitude makes life lighter. Tom looked around his small room. At first, he only saw the things he didn't like: the broken chair, the messy desk, the window that didn't close properly. He sighed. There's nothing special here, he thought. But then he remembered how the old man smiled while eating bread and soup. Just bread and soup, and yet he looked so happy. Tom opened the drawer of his desk and found a small notebook. It was almost empty. He picked up a pen and sat quietly for a moment. Then he wrote his first words. I have food today. I have a bed to sleep in. I have eyes to see. He looked at the simple list. It wasn't much, but for some reason his chest felt a little lighter. He took a deep breath. Maybe this is gratitude, he whispered. For the first time in many months, Tom didn't fall asleep thinking about his problems. He didn't think about the bus or his boss or how unlucky his life was. Instead, he thought about his dinner, his warm blanket, and the fact that he could see the stars through his window. His mind felt calm.
His lips even curved into a small smile. The next morning, Tom woke up before his alarm. Sunlight touched his face. He sat up slowly, and without really planning to, he whispered, "Thank you for this morning." The words felt strange, but they also felt good. As he got ready for work, he noticed small things he never cared about before. The sound of birds singing outside, the cool water washing his face, even the smell of coffee from his neighbor's kitchen. He felt a little spark of happiness. On the way to the bus stop, he carried the notebook in his bag. He kept thinking about what he could write down later. He didn't know why, but the thought made him excited. When the bus came, he actually smiled at the driver and said, "Good morning." The driver looked surprised, then nodded back. At work, Tom still had problems. His boss was busy and strict, his computer was slow, but Tom noticed something. His coworker Sarah offered him a piece of chocolate. Usually, Tom would just take it without thinking, but this time he looked at her and said, "Thank you." Sarah smiled warmly, and suddenly Tom felt good. That evening, Tom opened his notebook again. This time he wrote, "I have a job. I have kind coworkers. I have another day to live." As he closed the notebook, Tom realized something important. His life hadn't changed on the outside. The bus was still late sometimes, his boss was still strict, and his room was still messy. But something inside him had begun to change. His heart felt softer. His mind felt calmer. Gratitude was working, slowly, gently, like the morning sun rising after a long night. Part 4. New Energy. The next morning, Tom woke up earlier than usual. He opened his eyes and noticed the soft, golden light coming through the window. For a moment, he just lay there, enjoying the quiet. Then, without thinking too much, he whispered, "Thank you for this morning." It was a small sentence, but it felt powerful. He got up, stretched, and made himself a cup of tea. Normally, Tom would complain, "The tea is not strong enough," or "Why is it so hot in here?" But today, he just sat by the window, sipping slowly. He looked at the steam rising from the cup and thought, "I'm lucky to have this." When he left his house and walked to the bus stop, Tom felt different. He noticed the blue sky, the fresh smell of trees, and the laughter of children walking to school. He smiled to himself. Life didn't look so heavy anymore. When the bus arrived, Tom climbed in, and for the first time, he said to the driver, "Good morning, thank you." The driver looked surprised, then gave a small smile back. That little smile made Tom's heart feel warm. At work, Tom's day was still busy. His boss gave him extra tasks, his computer was slow again, and the phone kept ringing. But Tom tried something new. Instead of thinking, "This is terrible," he thought, "I am lucky to have work. Many people are looking for jobs." During lunch, Tom sat with his coworkers instead of eating alone. He smiled more, and his smile felt real. Sarah, the same coworker who had given him chocolate the other day, noticed. "Tom, you look different today. Happier. What happened?" Tom laughed a little and said, "I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to be thankful for small things." Sarah nodded. "That's a good idea. Life feels better when we focus on the good." Her words made Tom feel even stronger inside, as if he was finally moving in the right direction. When the workday ended, Tom walked home slowly instead of rushing. He saw a mother holding her child's hand, and he thought, "That's beautiful." He heard music from a small shop, and he thought, "That sounds nice." The world hadn't changed, but Tom's eyes had. That night, when he opened his notebook, the list of gratitude was longer than ever. I enjoyed my tea this morning. The bus driver smiled at me. I have friends at work. The sky was blue and clear. I had food for dinner. As Tom looked at the list, he realized something amazing. His problems were still there, but they no longer controlled him. Gratitude gave him new energy. It was like carrying a light inside his heart, one that made even dark places feel brighter. For the first time in years, Tom was not just living, he was enjoying life.
Part 5. Gratitude Changes Life. A week passed since Tom first wrote in his little notebook. Each day he added new things to his gratitude list. Some were small, like the smell of fresh bread, and some were bigger, like my friend helped me at work. Every night before sleeping, Tom read his list, and every morning he started the day by saying, "Thank you." Slowly, Tom felt lighter. He walked with more energy. He laughed more often. Even when small problems came, like missing the bus again or spilling his tea, he didn't get angry like before. Instead, he thought, "It's okay. At least I have legs to walk. At least I have another cup of tea to drink." Gratitude was becoming part of him. One sunny afternoon, Tom was sitting on the same bench where he had met the old man. He was writing in his notebook when he heard a familiar voice. "Ah, young man, writing again." Tom looked up and saw the old man, carrying the same small bag and wearing the same warm smile. Tom quickly stood up, his heart filled with happiness. "Sir, I'm so glad to see you again." The old man laughed gently. "And how is life treating you now?" Tom's eyes shone. He opened his notebook and showed the man the pages filled with lists. "Your words changed me. I started writing what I'm thankful for, and now I feel different. I feel happier." The old man looked at the notebook, then at Tom, and smiled. "No, my friend, it was not my words that changed you. It was gratitude. Gratitude changed you." Tom felt his throat tighten. The old man was right. Gratitude had opened his eyes to a brighter world. He sat back down, and the old man joined him. Together they ate lunch, just like before. But this time, Tom really enjoyed every bite. The rice tasted better, the sun felt warmer, the air smelled fresher. Life felt richer. As they ate, Tom noticed something else. He wasn't only feeling thankful, he was also kinder to others. He held doors open, he smiled at strangers, he spoke gently to his boss, and he even called his parents more often. Gratitude was not just changing his mood, it was changing his actions, his relationships, and his whole life. When lunch was finished, the old man stood up slowly. "Remember, young man, life is never perfect. There will always be problems, but gratitude will give you the strength to carry them. Gratitude is the light that makes every day brighter." Tom nodded deeply. He felt those words settle into his heart like seeds ready to grow. As the old man walked away, Tom whispered softly, "Thank you for everything." From that day forward, Tom lived with a thankful heart. His life was not always easy, but it was always brighter. And he knew one simple truth. Gratitude doesn't change the world around you, it changes the way you see the world.